Hello YouTubers, welcome back to the channel. Right, what we're going to be doing today then is I'm going to be changing my leisure battery. The one I've got is goosed, okay, it's not holding its charge and I've got a Euro trip in a couple of weeks. So without further ado, I need to get the driver's seat out, get the battery out and then get the new one fitted and set up the Victron smart controller to the new settings, because the battery I've got is replacing a lead acid battery and the new one is a AGM battery, which needs to be charged at a higher rate. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the electrics I've got in the van is very basic. Underneath there I have a 12 volt lead acid battery and a fuse box with a 40 amp cable running around the back to the voltmeter, which you can see is on, don't know how well you can see that on the camera, but it's on 10.1 volts. The only thing that's running is the fridge. It's got a solar panel attached to it at all times, which is on, but I've switched it off just to see how well the battery holds its charge. And as soon as I turn the fridge on, it drops from 12.5 down to 10.5. So that tells me that that thing in there needs replacing. Gonna whip the seat off, get the new one put in, hopefully it fits. Yeah, and then in there also is a smart controller for the solar panel that's on the roof. Apparently these new batteries, the AGM, it's like a gel matting inside or something, and they need to be charged between 14.6 and 14.8 volts, which the split charge system off the van apparently isn't good enough, because that will only charge to about 14.2. Anyway, hopefully the battery I've got will fit. And here is the battery in question. So got it from a company called Alpha Power Solutions online. It came in about £129. I did pay £7.50 or something like that for next day delivery. So all in all, not that bad of a deal, because some of these batteries that I've seen online were going for about £170, £180. So I think I've got a bargain. So without further ado, let's whip this out of the box and see if it fits under the van. So it's come well packaged. Bloody hell, they're heavy. So at first glance, it looks like it's the same size as the other one. This one's a 12 volt, 105 amp hour, so it's a little bit more powerful than the last one. So on there, it's an AGM battery, which stands for absorbent glass matte. So apparently there's no lead in this battery or acid at all. So it's different technology. So they're supposed to last a little bit longer. Just that they need to be charged at a higher rate, which I have got my concerns about, because the split charge system isn't going to be powerful enough for it. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that the solar panel produces enough power to be able to keep this thing charged. Anyway, so 4 bolts, 13mm. You don't want to be looking at me doing this, do you? I'm going to stick you on a time lapse. The seat is out. Here's my little setup. So just a bit of cloth so it blends in, makes it look a bit nice. I've got some rubber matting sat on top of the terminals just in case something gets in there and touches the terminals. So like I said, this is a lead acid battery. Not been in here very long, to be honest. Not fucking impressed that I've got to replace it so soon. I don't know whether I've not looked after it, or I've overcharged it or undercharged it, or whether it's just come to the end of its life. I do not know, but in there it says it's green, which should mean it's okay. Obviously you're telling lies. So because that light is green, which says it's charged, yeah, I've got 10.1 volts on the voltmeter in the back. I'm just gonna put a voltmeter across the terminals here just to make sure it's nothing to do with the wiring between this point and that voltmeter over there. Which, just let me figure out, can't remember how to use this. So black to black. So I've got 10.2 volts across the battery terminals here. So I'm happy that this battery is goosed, and I've not gone and spent my money for no reason. So let's get it out. So 13. Just be careful when you're working with batteries. Oh, it's not 13, that must be a 12, bear with. 12 mil. Just be careful if you're doing this at home and you've never worked with batteries before. Make sure, what I always do, I always grab one end of the spanner so that when I'm on the live, okay, which is the red, I don't accidentally touch any part of the bodywork with the end of the spanner, which will then cause a short circuit. Especially if these have been charging, because they do produce a hydrogen gas which can be flammable, and you don't want this exploding in your face. So what you should have really is gloves, protective goggles. Like I've said before in my other videos, do as I say, not as I do. Well, that's really stiff. I'm going to get a screwdriver. Just open that a little bit. That does not want to come off. There we go. So the earth's come off nice and easy, but this terminal is being a bit of a bell end. So I'm just using a screwdriver, trying to prise open the clamp a little bit. Fucking hell. Pardon my French. Okay. There we go. Come on, you bugger. It does not want to come off. I don't want to be prizing it too hard in case I make a hole in the battery and get acid everywhere. I think it's time for a plan B. Okay, tried a different tactic. Just disconnected them off the cables off the clamp, just to get the battery out, and then fucking hell, balls. There we go. Now that was a twat to get off for some reason, don't know why. Anyway, it's off. Battery looks good, same size, so let's get it on. Get in there, you twat. Okay. Quick check, I've not knocked any wires out like I did last time, which I noticed after I put everything back together. We're good. Right. Remove that. Okay. So remember, I always hold the end of the spanner. Don't want to over tighten these because you don't. Okay, let's put that back on there. Which way do they go? That way. Positive on first. Now these batteries do come fully charged apparently. Again, careful not to over tighten it. Handy little covers. Where are we? Yeah. So hit this bit. I can hear the fridge springing into life, which is good. Little nip, check all the others, just to make sure they've not vibrated loose. Great. What a twat. So that's what happens when you over tighten things. So now I'm going to have to come up with a plan B. Disaster averted. So that's the problem with over tightening cheap metal. Okay, that snapped off. I've managed to get all 3 cables onto that bolt there. Found some slack, cable tied them. I'm gonna have to get another one of these, but it'll have to do for now. Fingers crossed I don't have any trouble with it on the Euro trip. Yeah, let's get the seat back in and then we'll set the Victron controller. We're back together. Fridge is whirring away. We've got 12.2 volts on the voltmeter, which is good. So what we're going to do now is, I'll do it on my iPad. So we've got need to set the Victron controller up. So this now Bluetooths to the controller, which is under the seat. And at the minute I've got it switched off, because whenever you're working on solar it does pay to switch it off, because it still does create voltage. So I think we go to settings, click battery, and then this is where you can program it. So enable chargers, we'll turn that back on. So that now is letting this power that it's producing back into the battery. So then we need to set it load outputs, I think it is. Nope. As you can see there, it's set to PZS tubular plate traction, which means a lead acid battery. So we click that drop down, then we go to select presets, and then on there we've got the different batteries that you can get. So the first one, AGM spiral cell. Under that we've got gel Victron deep discharge, gel Victron deep discharge 2. There's your lead acid batteries, and then you've got your lithium down at the bottom. So now we've changed from lead acid to an AGM battery. We need to click that, okay, and apparently it auto saves. Okay, so this now, as you can see there, absorption just stick my teeth in, absorption voltage 14.7. so remember what I said is, because it's an AGM 12 volt battery, it needs to charge between 14.6 and 14.8 volts for it to be able to charge the battery. So there we go, it's set to 14.7, float voltage 13.8, blah 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 blah. Yeah, we're good on that. And then as you can see there, the solar power at the minute is producing, fluctuating between 15, 14. Yeah, it is starting to get dark, so this will drop. Battery voltage is currently sitting at 12.31, and yeah, we're good. So We'll see how that goes. I'll give you an update if anything goes wrong in the future. Touch wood. Hope you took something away from that. Please consider liking the video, subscribe to the channel, and come back and see me again soon.